Moreover, Xiao Qi was also very hardworking. No matter how the little ones tossed him, he would always smile stupidly. Only when he saw Heshi he would throw away the little ones and rush to her to coquette. Of course, the premise was that there was no Nangong Yu by Heshi. Xiao Qi was terrified of Nangong Yu, the brother-in-law, who always threatened him. At this moment, little dumb cow was lying under Xiao Qi's feet, sticking out his tongue and looking at Little Egg. Little Egg sat on Xiao Qi's knee and gnawed on a chicken leg, giving some to Little Golden Dragon and Little Dumb Cow a little from time to time. Little Golden Dragon kept doing all kinds of funny stunts and chattering in Xiao Qi's ear. He was born to be talkative. Little Egg and Heshi sometimes disliked him. Now there was Xiao Qi who wouldn't dislike him. He was really happy for this. As for Purple Abyss Vine, it wrapped around Xiao Qi's hand and gently brushed his skin with the leaves, making Xiao Qi feel itchy and giggle. Heshi looked up and saw such a scene. Everyone whom she cared was with her, and her beloved man was peeling grapes for her. Such moments were quite good, making her nostalgic and smile sweetly. In order for this wonderful moment to survive forever, she has to keep getting stronger until no one could take anything from her. As if feeling her mood, Nangong Yu gently hugged her and whispered in her ear, "Sheer, don't worry, as you said, I will protect you and everything you care about. I will swear by my deceased parents." Since Shi-san became the shopkeeper of Shengda Hall, he had always thought that he had been accustomed to everything that happened. However, when he received news from Heshi and asked him to report the news to King of Hell Mansion, he still felt cold feet. He looked up at the towering plaque on top, and two black-shirted guards standing in front of the door. The two guards guarding the gate belonged to the Meridian stage, and they looked steadily ahead. Their bodies exuded a murderous aura like two sharp swords that would unsheath at any time. My gosh! This is the King of Hell Mansion. What did Miss ask me to come here? Is she here to treat King of Hell? If that's the case, Miss is too powerful. Even King of Hell is seeing her? Shi-san faintly knew that his Miss had a relationship with an important person, and that person even came to their simple courtyard. However, he would never ever expect that that person would be the famous King of Hell. Shi-san stepped forward tremblingly and explained his identity to one of the guards. Unexpectedly, when the guard heard Shi-san reporting his identity, he immediately showed a respectful expression. "Shopkeeper Shi, Butler Nan has instructed us that the princess has been waiting for you for a long time. Please come in with me." Wait, what? Who the hell is the princess? Why is the princess waiting for him? Shi-san followed the guard to the mansion almost in sync. He was feeling dizzy all the way. However, when he arrived in the courtyard and saw the scene in front of him, he almost stopped breathing. Am I having illusion? The unparalleled handsome man and exuded an astounding momentum. Is he Royal Highness King of Hell? Shi-san had seen the heroic appearance of King of Hell, Nangong Yu, from a distance. Besides, Nangong Yu had such an outstanding appearance. He had become the dream lover of female cultivators in the world before he was an adult. Anyone who had seen him would never forget his appearance. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. But, can anyone tell me that the man in front of me, who is peeling grapes for my miss and is pushed away by my miss with detest, is really the cruel and bloodthirsty King of Hell in the legend? Uncle Shi-san, why are you here? Did Mom's bad master come to ask for alcohol again? A little pink pig suddenly rushed in front of him, biting a chicken leg and saying angrily, "Go back and tell that bad old man, the wine and food all belong to Little Egg. He is not allowed to steal from me." Shi-san smiled. His face was so stiff as if it was petrified. At this time, Heshi finally noticed the existence of Shi-san. She looked up and waved at him. How did Nailin Mansion react? Shi-san regained his thought abruptly, and he quickly stepped forward to report to Heshi. Heshi had already asked Qin Bai, one of Gu Liufeng's original subordinates, to secretly deploy manpower at the Nailin Mansion to monitor their every move. When Shi-san sent medicinal pills to Nailin Jingza, he also contacted Qin Bai along the way. Therefore, he naturally brought back news of Nailin Mansion. Shisan finished talking tremblingly, and he saw Heshi's mouth slightly pursed, revealing a half-smile. At this time, His Royal Highness King of Hell was taking a piece of pastry to Miss, and she ate it naturally. The little cake stain on the corner of her mouth was even carefully wiped clean by King of Hell. Shisan turned his head in shock. He saw the guards beside King of Hell were already accustomed to it. They didn't feel strange at all. God, that's King of Hell. What is Miss' identity? She can even let King of Hell feed her. Qing Luan by the side said in a puzzle at this moment, Princess, since the little young master has been rescued, shouldn't we just kill Nailin Mansion and avenge the little young master? Why bother to do so many tricks to waste time with the group of trashes in Nailin Mansion? Heshi titled up the corner of her mouth, and she said with gloomy eyes, the Murong Mansion incident has made me fear a little. Behind the noble families in Yanjing City, it seems that there are treacherous forces behind them in secret. Especially the array in the Nailin Jingzi study room. It let me have a bad omen. Once we alerted the enemies, it might make Nailin Jingzi fight back in desperate. It may even alarm the people behind them, letting them taking precautions. It's better to push the Nailin family into desperation bit by bit, but also let them think they still have the hope of counterattack. In this way, it's easier to get more information from them. What's more, Heshi's gaze fell on her little brother who was playing with the 4 little ones. Seeing his innocent smiling face, there was a trace of pity and cold hatred in her eyes. They harmed Xiaoqi so much. If I just let their whole family die like that, isn't that making it too easy for them? The abuses and humiliations that my brother and I suffered over the years, can it be repaid by just death? What I want is their reputation being totally ruined, letting them suffer a living hell. There was one more point, but Heshi didn't say it. That was, she still had too many doubts about the identities of Nailin Heshi and Xiaoqi who was in Lingyue. If she is just an ordinary concubine, why would Nailin Jingzi care so much about what she left behind? And who is Xiaoqi and my biological father? What is the powerful force sealed in Xiaoqi's body? I must dig out all these from Nailin Jingzi's mouth. Qing Luan nodded immediately when she heard the words. She pulled Shisan aside to discuss how to make Nailin family even more unlucky. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Heshi then asked Shisan, if there is any abnormality in the Nailin Mansion, let Chunbai report to me immediately. After planning for so long, I don't want to miss the good show. Shisan nodded quickly, and he couldn't help but glance back with a confused face. His Royal Highness King of Hell, who was rumored to kill people like flies, was reaching out his hand and gently stroking his Miss cheek. His eyes filled with pampering and pity. Prince, it turns out that King of Hell likes our Miss. From now on, our Miss will be the King of Hell's wife. God, that's the King of Hell. Wouldn't I be the manager of the King of Hell mansion in the future? Shisan felt that his footsteps floating even more. His hands and legs were moving at the same time. He stumbled from time to time, making Qing Luan look back at him frequently. After Heshi sent away Shisan, she continued to study her prescription. Besides, Nan Gongyu was intimate with her enough. He also asked people to bring the official tasks of the King of Hell mansion here, and he handled them right beside her. Heshi raised her head occasionally. Looking at the man working seriously beside her, she couldn't help being moved. This time I really fell for it. She could feel the throbbing in her heart. She would miss when she didn't see him. She would be happy when she sees him. She couldn't wait to be always with him. When she saw him getting close to another woman, she would feel annoyed. Her heart would throb when seeing his serious working face. Nan Gongyu, in this unfamiliar and dangerous world, can I really stay with this man? I surely can, right? This day was the day when Nailin Feishue brought her new husband Zhu Zhongba back to her home, but there was no festive atmosphere in the entire Nailin mansion. For Nailin family, Zhu family was definitely not a good relative, not to mention that the miss of the Nailin family was married to Zhu Zhongba, who was stupid like a pig. In this marriage, there were so many people laughing at the Nailin family for disgracing themselves. Although the Ouyang family was now destroyed, Compared to the young and talented Ouyang Haoshuan, Zhu Zhongba was really unworthy as compared to Ouyang Haoshuan. When Nailan family detested Ouyang Haoshuan, whose meridian was broken, they cancelled the engagement with the Ouyang family. But now they married their baby daughter to Zhu Zhongba, who already had a dozen of concubines. This was really a joke. So for Nailan Jingzi, no matter who married, as long as the Nailan family was marrying the Zhu family, he wouldn't be happy. As for Mrs. Nailan, she was very excited. But she was just excited to laugh at Nailan Heshi. She patiently prepared the bridal chamber for her. In the main hall, the Nailan family's master and Madam and Nailan Yurong were sitting in their seats, looking anxiously at the door. The butler had just come to report that the new son-in-law was bringing his new wife home. Sure enough, after a while, Zhu Zhongba's plump figure appeared at the entrance of the main hall. He was still wearing a new red dress, and his face was full of vitality. Even his eyes were smiling triumphantly. It was just that his body was too fat. The groom's red dress on him did not only look brave, but he looked more like a roasted pig, which was really ridiculous. After stepping in, Zhu Zhongba was about to step forward to salute Nailan Jingzi, realizing that the person behind him hadn't followed up. He immediately turned around and pulled. He yelled, "What are you dilly-dallying for? Father-in-law and mother-in-law are still waiting for me to kowtow to them." Under this pull, a woman's figure appeared immediately behind Zhu Zhongba. It was just that compared to Zhu Zhongba's vigorous face, the woman looked a lot dejected. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the king of hell is genius pampered wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. A woman dressed in a red dress, but her hair was a little. I saw that she was wearing a scarlet dress, but her hair was a little messy. Her steps were staggering, and her hands were still tied to her chest by a thin natural silk. As she was pulled by Zhu Zhongba, she staggered and almost fell to the ground, making a low sob. When Mrs. Nailan saw the miserable appearance of the woman behind Zhu Zhongba, she was immediately exasperated. She subconsciously stood up and took a few steps forward. When Zhu Zhongba saw her, he didn't mean to be too respectful. He just cupped his fist and sneered, "Greetings to mother-in-law." Mrs. Nailan had no time to chat with this fat pig. She waved her hand excitedly and said, "Quickly take Nailan he. Quickly bring the bride up to me. Let me see how miserable the bitch looks." Zhu Zhongba thought that Mrs. Nailan missed the bride. He immediately pulled the natural silk in his hand and exclaimed, "Have you not heard the way your mother-in-law calls you? Don't hurry up and lift up your head." Mrs. Nailan excitedly watched the bride shivered violently, then the bride slowly raised her head. This was a beautiful and charming face, but at this moment, this face was haggard and sad. Her eyes looked blurred and scared. There was a wound on her forehead, but it was treated with some ointment. The corners of her mouth were covered with bruises. It seemed unspeakable miserable. But, if this face was not the second Miss Nailan Feishue from the Nailan mansion, who would she be? When Mrs. Nailan saw this face, she couldn't help being stiff, and then she screamed, Feishue. Hearing the words, Feishue, Nailan Feishue's originally dilated pupils slowly focused. When she saw her mother, she finally couldn't help crying out, "Mother! Mother! Help me! Save me! Mother! I'm Feishue! Impossible! How is this possible?" Mrs. Nailan rushed up crazily, grabbing Nailan Feishue's face and pulling her to the side. "You lie to me! You must be lying to me! Is that bitch Nailan Heshi pretending to be you?" "Mother, I'm Feishue. I'm really Feishue." Nailan Feishue desperately avoided Mrs. Nailan's tugging and cried out loudly, "Mother, it's all because of Nailan Heshi. She framed me and made me fall into this situation. She is a devil. Devil. Mother, you must save me." Mrs. Nailan took a step back staggeringly, and the bun on her head was loosened by the violent movement. At this time, she was like a crazy woman. Her eyes were bloodshot, and her body was shaking. She kept mumbling, "No. No way. This is absolutely impossible. It should be Nailan Heshi who was married. Why would it be Feishue? Why is it my baby girl Feishue?" Zhu Zhongba understood the conversation between the two persons even though he was stupid. The thought that he almost married the devil, Nailan Heshi, he couldn't help being afraid for a while. Although this Nailan Feishue was also arrogant at first, she became honest after being punished by his father. Moreover, Nailan Feishue's appearance was so delicate and beautiful, her body was soft and white. She was even prettier than his concubines. He wasn't done with playing her yet. Thinking of this, Zhu Zhongba pulled the natural silk in his hand and snorted coldly, "Mother-in-law, what do you mean by this? I obviously have an engagement with Feishue, but you guys wanted to marry the third miss to me? Aren't you afraid that I will report this to the sixth prince and the crown prince for deceiving them? Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/ the king of hell is genius pampered wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Nailan Feishue was bound by the natural silk, so she couldn't help herself. As soon as Zhu Zhongba pulled her, she fell into his fat embrace. Zhu Zhongba laughed, humiliating her indifferently. He pinched her plump chest, then he said condescendingly, "However, now that I married Nailan Feishue, I'll forget it. However, since Feishue has married my family, she is a member of my Zhu family. In the future, I think she should go back to the Nailan family lesser." "Ugh. No, I don't want." Nailan Feishue shouted as she pushed away Zhu Zhongba, rushing toward Nailan Zhengze and Nailan Yurong. "Father, save me. I don't want to go back to the Zhu family. That is not a place for people to stay. They beat me up, and even sealed my cultivation. I also heard Zhu Yichun said that he wanted to treat me like a furnace to let Zhu Zhongba absorb my vitality. This can be referred to the arts of chamber." "Father, I'm Feishue. I'm your most beloved daughter, not the bitch Nailan Heshi. Please save me, elder sister, please save me. Please master, let the Zhu family issue the divorce. Elder sister, I'm begging you." Nailan Yurong looked at the desperate and embarrassed sister who was kneeling in front of him and crying. Her face also looked terribly gloomy, and she almost bit her teeth until bleeding. Nailan Heshi, I actually underestimated you." Nailan Feishue hugged Nailan Yurong's feet and cried loudly, "Elder sister, please, please help me." Nailan Yurong took a deep breath, and she pushed her sister's hand lightly. She said lightly, "Feishue, stop making trouble. For whatever reason, you are now married to Zhu family's young master, and you have become his woman. In that case, you better go back with Master Zhu obediently. Don't make a big fuss outside, lest you lose the face of our Nailan family." What did you say?" Nailan Feishue's eyes widened suddenly, and she stepped back in disbelief. She murmured over and over again in her mouth, "Elder sister, are you lying to me? You are lying to me, right? I'm your sister of the same father and mother. You used to love me the most. How could you say that?" Nailan Yurong sneered and looked at her condescendingly. There was a hint of contempt in her eyes. "Feishue, you can only blame yourself for being stupid. You have been framed by Nailan Heshi again and again. Even my perfect plan has a flaw now. Since that's the case, you should just accept your fate. After all, you are already young Master Zhu's woman." Zhu Zhongba was both delighted and proud when he heard this. He laughed and said, "The elder sister is really righteous. No wonder everyone praises you as the most dazzling jewel of the Nailan family. Feishue and I have long had intimate contact. She is my Zhu family's legitimate wife. My father has instructed me to bring her back so that I can love her move." Nailan Feishue shook her head desperately, looking at her magnificent elder sister, but her heart was full of strangeness. The contemptuous and cold eyes made her fearful and injured heart riddled with holes. Nailan Feishue rushed in front of Nailan Zhengze, crying loudly, "Father, father, save me. I'm your daughter." Nailan Zhengze frowned and said sternly, "What are you crying for? It should be a festive day for your return. Look at your crying face. How ugly is that? Do you want our Nailan family to be a laughingstock again?" From the far gate, someone was already looking into the main hall. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Despair surged in Nalan Feishua's heart, and these former dear relatives in front of her became so unfamiliar to her. In the past, she thought that she was being loved the most, but now in the moment of interest, these relatives, who loved her previously, pushed her back to hell without hesitation. Nalan Jingza coughed and said, "Zhongba, Feishue is my daughter after all, the second miss of my Nalan family. You must treat her well, otherwise our Nalan family will never forgive you." Although this was a threat, it showed no confidence at all. Zhu Zhongba chuckled and said, "My father-in-law, don't worry, as long as Feishue doesn't make trouble, I can't wait to love her. How could I abuse her? Feishue, don't you think so?" Nalan Feishue raised her head and met Zhu Zhongba's lewd smile, and her body trembled violently. She still clearly remembered the disgusting fat man who stripped her clothes last night, dripped hot candle oil on her body, and whipped her with a whip. Such a living hell, I don't want to continue it even if I die. Mother! Mother? Nalan Feishue could only look back for the mother who loved her most. Mother, you must save me. Since Mrs. Nalan just discovered the identity of Nalan Feishue, she sat there obediently as if her soul was lost. Hearing Nalan Feishue's call at this time, her body trembled suddenly. After that, her eyes turned white, and the corners of her mouth began to salivate. Her body trembled like she was having a seizure. Without waiting for Nalan Feishue to speak, she suddenly violently rushed toward Nalan Feishue. "Bitch, Nalan Heshi, you bitch, you dare to frame my daughter. I will kill you. I will kill you." "Mother, mother, it's me, mother." Nalan Feishue kept yelling, but Mrs. Nalan couldn't hear her at all. She was completely crazy, unleashing her craziness at someone. Nalan Yurong had to knock Mrs. Nalan out helplessly and let the servant tie up Mrs. Nalan with a rope. Nalan Yurong looked at Nalan Feishue, whose face was scratched at one side. "Feishue, you are so ignorant. You know that your mother has an old illness. I asked the master to use medicine to suppress it, but you stimulated mother because of that little things, triggering her disease again. If mother never gets better, can you take the responsibility?" Nalan Jingza also frowned. His face was gloomy. He cupped his fist at Zhu Zhongba and said, "Something has happened in my mansion. Sorry for letting Zhongba seeing such a joke. Why don't we cancel the banquet today? You bring Feishue home first. A few days later, I will invite you and Feishue again." Zhu Zhongba couldn't wait to say goodbye to the people of Nalan Mansion. Seeing that they didn't care about Nalan Feishue's life or death, he was overjoyed. He dragged Nalan Feishue and said, "Then we will leave first. Father, mother, elder sister, save me, save me." When being dragged away by Zhu Zhongba and the guards of the Zhu mansion, Nalan Feishue was still crying for help. However, at this time her voice was already full of despair and resentment. Nalan Mansion, Nalan Jingza, Nalan Yurong, they all abandoned her. After being thrown into the carriage by Zhu Zhongba, Nalan Feishue's head hit the carriage wall heavily. Zhu Zhongba immediately rushed to tear her clothes and shouted, "Little bitch, have you given up now? No one from the Nalan family will step up for you. From now on, I can do whatever I want with you, huh?" The sounds that couldn't be concealed came out from the carriage, but the servants of the Zhu family had long been accustomed to it. The pedestrians on both sides of the road couldn't help pointing at the carriage and gossiping. "I heard that it is the young master of the Zhu family and the second miss of the Nalan Mansion. Today is the day they return home after newly married." "Oh, but even newly married can't be so shameless. This is on the street. Zhu, I really don't know what Nalan family is thinking. Sticking a flower into the cow dung." In the carriage, Nalan Feishue closed her eyes, and tears streaming down her eyes. Her hands were clenched into fists, and her nails were deeply embedded in her flesh. Her hands were bleeding out, but she didn't notice anything. At this moment, she hated Nalan Yurong and Nalan Jingza even more than Nalan Heshi. "Nalan Heshi is my enemy. I wanted to harm Nalan Heshi, and Nalan Heshi wanted to harm me. This is understandable. But Nalan Yurong, she is my elder sister. Nalan Jingza is my biological father. How could they be so cruel?" How can they abandon me just like that? Nalan Feishue gritted her teeth, revealing a hideous twisted smile at the corner of her mouth. At this time, Heshi had already returned to Xanyu House and decided to complete her finishing work at Nalan Mansion. Qing Wan set up the tea set, cooked the tea skillfully, poured the tea, and finally handed the teacup to Heshi's hand. Heshi took a sip and couldn't help but praise, "Qing Wan, your tea art is really getting better and better. I'm used to the tea you make and I can't drink ordinary tea anymore." Qing Wan was immediately delighted. Compared to Miss' cooking skills, I'm far behind. If Miss doesn't dislike it, I will stay with Miss forever and make tea for you. Heshi pursed her mouth and said, "You're the confidant guard carefully trained by King of Hell Mansion. If you just follow me to be a tea master, isn't that too wasteful?" Qing Wan immediately shook her head again and again. "No at all, not a waste at all. I'm willing to follow you." "As long as you don't," Heshi laughed and said, "you sound like you are my maid. Nangong Yu is your master, right? Sooner or later, Miss will marry into the King of Hell Mansion and become the princess." Qing Wan took it for granted. "I'm master's maid, and of course I'm also Miss Maid." Heshi blushed and said proudly, "Bah, who said I will marry Nangong Yu, that rascal?" She remembered someone's hot breath in her ears last night. The hoarse voice, that seemed to be able to catch fire, whispered in her ear, "Sheer, if you don't marry me soon, I'm afraid I can't restrain myself from eating you up before getting married." The ending was of course someone being kicked out of bed by her. But now thinking of someone's fiery embrace and the look in his eyes as if to swallow her into his stomach, she couldn't help but feel palpitations. Qing Wan didn't say anything. In her opinion, the only one who could be worthy of her master in this world was Miss, and the only one who could be worthy of Miss was naturally her master. The two are a match made in heaven, how can they not be together? Heshi took out a few exquisite refreshments from the void and greeted Qing Wan and Mai Xiang to eat together. She suddenly said as if she thought of something, "Qing Wan, Mai Xiang, why not I teach you too how to cook spiritual food when I'm free a few days later?" "Miss, I can learn?" Mai Xiang was trembling with excitement, and her voice stuttered. Qing Wan was also overjoyed. She had eaten Heshi's food several times. The foods were so delicious that even the top spirit chefs couldn't cook. "Even my master, Bai Hu, Wu Yu and others are looking forward to Miss Foods every day. But with such top-notch cooking skills, Miss is willing to teach us so simply?" Heshi said disapprovingly, "What can't you learn? If you too learn it, then in the future, my master, Wu Yu, Bai Hu and the other guys come to ask for food, you can help me deal with them." When she first came to Miluo Continent, her cooking skills were also taught by Mammy Chen and Shaoli. It was just that things had changed. Mammy Chen was dead. Although Shaoli was still alive, her cultivation was lost. She was now busy cultivating, so her cooking skills were also lost. Mai Xiang and Qing Wan, one was clever and the other was calm and wise, and they were clever in handling daily tasks, so it was just nice to let them learn the cooking skills. Heshi smiled and looked at the two. "Are you two willing to learn?" "Yes. Of course I do." Mai Xiang and Qing Wan nodded desperately, and Mai Xiang's tears dropped with excitement. "Miss, it's really great for me to meet you." Oh, Heshi was so dumbfounded by these two little girls. As she wanted to order Mai Xiang to not bother her, her expression looked stern. "Someone is coming." Mai Xiang stopped crying immediately. She stood up and walked to the room. Her cultivation was low. Staying here would only cause trouble for Heshi. Qing Wan stood beside Heshi and whispered, "Miss, is it the people from the Nalan family?" Heshi took a sip of tea and smiled slowly. Someone is here to settle the score." Not long after she spoke, the door of Xanyu House was smashed open. Nalan Yurong appeared at the entrance of Xanyu House, followed by several martial artists from Meridian Stage. Mrs. Nalan with messy hair and bloodshot eyes was there too. Seeing Heshi, Nalan Yurong's pupils shrank suddenly. Her eyes were filled with jealousy. "Nalan Heshi, you are still here?" Heshi put down the teacup and smiled delightedly. "Elder sister is really weird. If I'm not here, where should I be?" Nalan Yurong gritted her teeth and stared at her fiercely. Nalan Heshi, you are just an illegitimate child of unknown origin. You have no outstanding appearance and talent. You should have been trampled in the mud. How dare you show off in front of us? Have you forgotten how you knelt in front of the servants of the Nalan family and begged them to give you a bowl of rice? A person like you, do you think you are worthy of His Royal Highness King of Hell? I asked you to marry the Zhu family to replace Fei Xue. It was originally a way for you to survive. Who knew that you would seek the hard way? Heshi sneered and said, What kind of talent does elder sister think is worthy of King of Hell? Are you, elder sister, mentioning yourself? What a pity. I remember that King of Hell beat up elder sister in front of everyone, and he even said that you are ugly. It has only been a few days. Did elder sister forget about it? Bitch, you shut up. Speaking of this, Nalan Yurong could no longer maintain her noble appearance, and she raised the volume and shouted in anger, You bitch! You caused Fei Xue to marry that fat pig, Zhu Zhongba, and you seduced King of Hell, causing him to misunderstand me. I will never let you go. Standing aside, Mrs. Nalan, whose eyes were still somewhat distracted, heard Nalan Yurong's sentence, You caused Fei Xue to marry that fat pig, Zhu Zhongba, and immediately recovered. Her bloodshot eyes stared at Heshi, and she suddenly screamed and rushed toward her, It's you who framed my Fei Xue. Nalan Heshi, I will kill you to revenge for my Fei Xue. However, before she rushed to Heshi, Mrs. Nalan was kicked flying by Qing Luan. Although Qing Luan didn't add spiritual power to her feat, the strength was extremely high, and Mrs. Nalan had a very low level of cultivation. In addition, her body was weak due to repeated troublesome incidents. She flew to the wall, spouting a lot of blood. Nalan Yurong's eyes widened. She couldn't believe that Nalan Heshi actually allowed her maid to beat Mrs. Nalan. Mrs. Nalan was now unconscious. She didn't want to bring her over here initially. But thinking of Mrs. Nalan's identity as Heshi's stepmother, she still asked Mrs. Nalan to take the pill to suppress the madness and bring her over. However, she didn't expect Nalan Heshi to be so bold. She raised her eyebrows, pointed at Heshi, and shouted sharply, Nalan Heshi, are you crazy? She is your stepmother. You allow your maid to beat your stepmother. Are you not afraid of being condemned by God for if offending and disobeying the elder? Heshi looked at her disdainfully. You, Nalan Yurong, are not afraid of being condemned by God for doing all the bad things. Why should I be afraid of? Nalan Yurong felt a little thump in her heart. What did Nalan Heshi know? Did she know that when I was young, I caught a lot of innocent people to test medicine in order to learn how to refine the Shuejie pill taught by Master? Or did she know I committed the incident that Mammy Chen's cultivation was ruined for being wronged harming her master? Nalan Yurong was shocked. When she saw Heshi's half-smiling face, she burst into anger. Nalan Heshi, what nonsense are you talking about? Don't think that you can sit back and relax with King of Hell supporting you. A strong murderous intent flashed in her eyes, and she coldly looked at the shameless girl in front of her. Nalan Heshi, if you die in this XNU house, I will strip off your clothes and put you together with the corpse of the servants. By the time, I will tell the people of King of Hell Mansion that you, slutty bitch, commit adultery with the servants, and you commit suicide due to shame for being caught on the spot. Do you really think Kingo of Hell Mansion will retrieve a dirty corpse by then? Heshi said, Oh, looked at Nalan Yurong with a half-smile, raised her eyebrows, and said, Does elder sister want to kill me? You can try it. Nalan Yurong's eyes shrank and she waved her hand. The Meridian stage martial artists behind her immediately rushed up and charged toward Heshi fiercely. But how would Qing Luan let them succeed? The long sword in her hand was launched, and her figure flew up. Clang! She alone blocked the attacks of several Meridian stage martial artists. Nalan Yurong looked at Qing Luan's terrifying skills and frowned fiercely. When she looked at Nalan Heshi again, she was already full of jealousy. This maid is also given to you by King of Hell, right? The people of King of Hell Mansion are really powerful. However, one person can't fight with numerous people. Nalan Heshi, now no one can save you. I know. As soon as Nalan Yurong spoke, her spiritual power spiked. The power of the Meridian stage burst out. In an instant, a huge water snake rose into the sky and rushed toward Hashi. Hashi watched as the oncoming turbulent water snake, and she was about to make a move, but there was a small black figure appeared in front of her suddenly. Little Golden Dragon's cocky voice could be heard. "Boss, it's not your turn to deal with this kind of character, let me deal with her." As it said, it suddenly shot out a fire dragon. Although the fire dragon was not big, it completely evaporated the water snake when it wrapped around the water snake. Nalan Yurong's face was full of shock. Didn't they say that Nalan Hashi has no cultivation? Then how can she subdue spiritual pet? To subdue a high-level spiritual, when signing a contract, it is easy to be backfired by the contract, making the martial artist seriously hurt. Nalan Hashi doesn't have any cultivation, how can she subdue the spiritual pet? Could it be that His Royal Highness King of Hell helped her? When he thought of this, Nalan Yurong's beautiful face was distorted. Everything in her heart and mind was replaced by hatred. How can Nalan Hashi, a bitch, be favored by the King of Hell? Why is it not me, Nalan Yurong? How am I incomparable to Nalan Hashi? After the water snake was put out, Little Golden Dragon triumphantly waved its tail at Hashi. "Boss, am I good?" As soon as it spoke, the other two also popped out of the void. The first one who came out was Little Dumb Cow. It had always been dumb and silly. When it came out of the void, it didn't maintain its balance well, and it directly fell with its head touching the ground first. With short hooves swaying in midair, he took a long time to roll over and get up. However, before he could stand firm, he saw a pink piglet falling from the sky and banging on it again, directly using him as a cushion. Little Egg raised his head, met Hashi's gaze, and immediately said with a cute smile, "Mom, we're here to help you." As he said, he stood up quickly and grinned at Nalan Yurong in front of him. "Really annoying, there are so many old women in this place. You all are obviously old and ugly, but you still covet my daddy. Such a character like you, how can you be comparable to my mom? You aren't even worthy of holding my mom's shoes." Little Dumb Cow crawled up in a stagger, trying to learn from Little Egg and staring at Nalan Yurong. But it was born with a pair of small green bean eyes. No matter how it glared, it didn't have any deterrence. It made it look more silly instead, making people couldn't help but want to laugh. Little Golden Dragon wagged his tail in the air and said, "What are you two guys doing? Didn't you see how handsome I just appeared? You two stupid look has just ruined my just handsome image. Go back, quickly go back." Hashi touched her forehead. "Little Dragon, do you think your dumb and cute Tyrannosaurus look is much better than them? I don't want to." Little Egg held his little paw and said angrily, "I also want to help my mother beat the bad guys. You are not allowed to drive us back, Little Dragon, or I won't play with you in the future." Only then the Little Golden Dragon shut up dejectedly, but he still couldn't help mumbling, "Then you guys don't hold me back, I finally got a chance to perform in front of the boss." Nalan Yurong looked at Heshi's three little pets, who were dumb and young. She couldn't see the slightest spiritual power fluctuations all over her body. Suddenly, she changed from shock to ridicule. "You see, what kind of owner will have what kind of pets? A bunch of waste. Today, I will let you see what is a real spiritual pet." After speaking, Nalan Yurong made a seal on her left hand, and a majestic black panther appeared beside her instantly. Hashi recognized at a glance, this was a rank 4 magical beast, and it was also the black mountain panther that was rather powerful among the rank 4 magical beasts. Its specialty was fast speed and mastered wind and thunder element spells. As soon as the black panther appeared, it immediately roared in Hashi's direction with murderous intent in its eyes. Little Egg covered his nose and complained, "It smells so smelly. Really, what kind of owner will have what kind of spiritual pet? Never mind, the master is so old and ugly, even her spiritual pet is so stinky. Carrying such a stinky pet, aren't you afraid of being stunk to death?" Little Golden Dragon also sneezed. He said disgustingly, "It's so stinky, let's get rid of it quickly, so as not to make our nose suffer." Little Dumb Cow was silly. Seeing that Little Egg and Little Golden Dragon were covering their noses, it slowly stretched out its paws to cover its nose too. A word came out of its mouth, "Stinky." Little Dumb Cow opened its mind later than Little Egg and Little Golden Dragon. It was only after being Heshi's spiritual pet and drinking the 9th secluded spirit spring, it gradually gained a little wisdom. It could speak a few words now. Of course, compared to the talkative Little Egg and Little Golden Dragon, it was totally incomparable. Nalan Yurong was trembling all over by their disgusting words. She waved her hand at the Black Panther and said angrily, "Tear all these wastes to pieces for me." After the Black Panther got the order, its figure instantly turned into lightning, rushing toward the 3 little ones. There was a gust of wind in the room, and there was also the crackling sound of thunder and lightning. The Black Panther was already agile, and with the acceleration of wind and thunder and lightning, it was as fast as lightning. Seeing that the 3 little ones were too late to react and were about to be torn to pieces by the Black Panther, Nalan Yurong smiled triumphantly. However, the next moment, her smile froze at the corner of her mouth. There was only a loud bang in her ear. The Black Panther's figure in the air was suddenly bounced away. The huge Black Panther slammed into the shelf, and the things on the shelf fell to pieces. The Black Panther also convulsed on the ground. It got up in a stagger after a while, but its sobbing sound was full of pain. On the side of the 3 little ones, Little Dumb Cow used the protective shield to knock the panther away. Only now it reacted with hindsight. In fact, it activated its protective shield with its instinct. It didn't intend to use such a rough method to punish the Black Panther. Little Dumb Cow was depressed, but Little Egg ran over and touched its head. He praised him like an adult. "Little Cow, good job." Little Dumb Cow suddenly turned from sad to joy. It had a happy face, which made Little Golden Dragon feel depressed. Nalan Yurong was stunned. They are obviously just 3 palm-sized pets without spiritual power fluctuations. Why can they knock back my spiritual pet? My Black Mountain Panther is the spiritual pet of the peak of the rank 4 magical beasts. Ordinary Meridian stage martial artists are definitely not its opponent. Nalan Yurong stared at the Black Mountain Panther on the side and screamed, "Get up now! If you don't punish them, I won't let you go after we go back." The Black Mountain Panther whimpered. Its body trembled, then it had to cast the gale again and rush toward the 3 little ones. This time, Little Golden Dragon stopped in front of Little Egg and Little Dumb Cow. When the Black Mountain Panther rushed to his front, he released his powerful dragon demeanor. The dragon and the phoenix were the kings of the beasts. The golden flying dragon was even the high-rank noble among the dragons. Wherever the dragon goes, all beasts will prostrate and worship the dragon. The Black Mountain Panther's body suddenly stopped in the air and began to tremble violently. Afterward, it seemed to be possessed. It slowly bent its knees, crawling in front of the Little Golden Dragon and making a murmur of surrendering sound. Little Golden Dragon was very satisfied with the dragon demeanor he released for the first time after being reborn. He flew a little forward and landed beside the Black Panther. He then said while looking up proudly, "You're a magical beast in the mountains. Why follow this vicious and shameless woman and let her use you? You even help her to do evil things?" The Black Mountain Panther made a whining sound as if telling something wronged and unwilling. Little Golden Dragon nodded twice as if showing kindness. "Well, since you are not willing, I will help you to get out of the possession of this woman." After speaking, he stretched out his paw, secretly bit one of his scales, then stuffed it into the Black Mountain Panther's mouth. As the scale entered the Black Mountain Panther's body, the Black Mountain Panther suddenly let out a long and stern cry. The black hairs all over its body erected. The next moment, the Black Mountain Panther jumped up into the sky, turned around, and stared at Nalan Yurong with a fierce look. At this moment, the majestic Black Panther in front of her was no longer her obedient pet, but a fierce beast that wanted to take her life. Nalan Yurong's eyes widened in horror, watching the scene before her in disbelief. She hadn't seen the action of Little Golden Dragon just now, so she couldn't understand why the little dragon just said a few words, and her pet panther rebelled against her. It even looked like wanting to eat her up. However, the Black Mountain Panther did not rush toward Nalan Yurong, but it turned around and whimpered twice to the Little Golden Dragon. It then broke through the roof, rose into the air, and disappeared in the sky. "Come back!" Nalan Yurong screamed, "You're my spiritual pet." Master helped me to subdue you with difficulty. How can you run away? You beast, come back now. What responded to her was the falling tiles from the roof and the whistling wind, as if mocking her for her stupidity and ignorance. Little Egg looked at Little Golden Dragon admiringly. His big eyes were gleaming. Little Dragon, what did that stinky big panther say to you? You can actually understand the animal language? You are as good as Sister Xiaoli. Little Golden Dragon grabbed his dragon horn suddenly and laughed. I don't understand. I just fooled the big black guy, but I didn't expect him to fall for it so easily. It must be that old woman is too annoying. That big black guy wanted to leave a long time ago. It just so happened that today I was kind and gave him a chance. The scales of the golden flying dragon had a powerful dragon demeanor. If the low-rank magical beasts consume it, it could strengthen the beast's aura in a short time and restrain the constraints of various arrays. Although the Black Mountain Panther had signed a master-servant contract with Nalan Yurong's cultivation was too low. In addition, she subdued the Black Mountain Panther with the help of the other, so it was unwilling. After it got the dragon scale, the Black Mountain Panther immediately got rid of the restraint of the master-servant contract and escaped. As soon as Little Egg heard that Little Golden Dragon could not understand animal language, he rolled his eyes and turned around with detest to show his little butt. Little Dumb Cow also learned from him. It slowly turned around to show his butt to the Little Golden Dragon. It made Little Golden Dragon scream frantically, "Boss, look at them, it's too much. Boss, you quickly teach them a lesson." Heshi facepalmed. She really had the illusion that she had opened a kindergarten to raise a group of problematic children. Nalan Yurong saw that her Black Mountain Panther's spiritual pet wasn't coming back, and her face was pale. She glared at Heshi, gritted her teeth, and slowly said, "Nalan Heshi, I think I have overestimated you again and again, but I didn't expect to underestimate you in the end. But, do you think that with these funny pets, you can really escape from my hands? Stop dreaming." Heshi pushed aside the table, stood up, and said leisurely, "Who spares whose life, it's still uncertain yet. Okay, very good. I will let you know today what is to die without an intact corpse." Nalan Yurong took out a pure black magic weapon similar to a compass as she spoke. As spiritual power was injected into the magic artifact, a cloud of black mist slowly formed above her head. Then, it became larger and larger. With the appearance of the black cloud, the light in the entire room became dark. The air was also cold. The hole that was hit by the Black Mountain Panther was also filled by the black cloud. In the room, the black cloud shrouded everyone, including Heshi and Nalan Yurong. In the next moment, a patter of rain began to fall below the black cloud. However, what was frightening was that these raindrops were not transparent water, but black liquid. The servants of Nalan Mansion, who was fighting with Qing Luan, suddenly screamed horribly when they encountered the falling raindrops. As soon as their clothes touched the raindrops, they were completely corroded. And their skin, when it touched the raindrops, it made a sizzling noise as if it was burning. In just a few moments, these martial artists of the Meridian stage were wounded, and their bodies were covered with bloody holes corroded by the black rain. "Miss, save me, save us. Give me the cure." Those people rushed toward Nalan Yurong. Although she was also in the rain seemed to be rejected by the compass in her hand and avoided her, so she had not suffered any damage so far. Seeing the miserable appearances of those servants calling for her help, Nalan Yurong didn't see the slightest pity in his eyes. She ruthlessly avoided the martial artists who rushed over and said coldly, "You can die under this death rain disc, peerless magic weapons, it is your honor. You should rest in peace." "Nalan Yurong, you vicious woman, we came here to help you." "Nalan Yurong, how can you treat us this way?" Nalan Yurong snorted, "After I smash Nalan Heshi into pieces, I will bury you all well. It is an honor for you all to die for me." After speaking, the compass in her hand turned abruptly, and the patter of rain suddenly became denser. Even Mrs. Nalan, who was overturned in a corner and unconscious, was also affected. It was just that she woke up in a muddle-headed manner, but she didn't seem to feel that half of her body was corroded by the rain at all. She even made a silly laughter. She had completely lost her mind. Qing Wan opened the defensive magic weapon at the first moment when she noticed that the rain had fallen, protecting He and the 3 little ones under it. But seeing the horrible state of Nailan Yurong's guards, she still frowned. "Miss, this rain is indeed a bit powerful. I can already feel the magic weapon being corroded, and its spiritual power has become thinner and thinner. I'm afraid I can't hold for long. Miss, you run away first. I will stay here and hold." "Run? I've Death Rain Disc in my hand. Where can Nailan He, a bitch, escape?" "Ha!" Nailan Yurong laughed arrogantly. "Nailan He, I advise you to stop struggling. The poison in this Death Rain Disc is mixed into the rain. It was refined by my master personally. So far, no one had survived after contacting this poison. So what if you use high-grade magic weapons to resist? This kind of poison can penetrate and corrode anything. It is just a matter of time that this magic weapon becomes a common item after its spirit being corroded." Nailan Yurong stared at He closely, eager to see the expression of fear and pleading on her face. She continued, "People who have been poisoned will see their flesh and skin melt bit by bit. Even if you get 1 drop of it, it will spread non-stop until your whole body corrodes. You will die in horrible pain. Nailan He, if you are afraid, it is better to kill yourself now, lest you die without an intact body." He glanced at Mrs. Nailan on the side, raised her eyebrows, and said, "Your own mother has also been poisoned by this virulent poison. Are you not afraid of her poison spreading and die?" Nailan Yurong snorted, her eyes full of disgust. "Now this Nailan family is not a help to me, but a burden. I'm a disciple of Master Shukong and a member of the Doctors' Association. If people know that my mother is a lunatic, how can I gain a foothold in the Doctors' Association in the future? Not to mention, my sister even married a stupid pig. They will only hinder me. When I get Jukulingshan Pill's prescription, Nailan family doesn't need to exist anymore. Tell me, will I care about the life and death of a crazy woman?" Even Qing Wan was ruthless. She was stunned by the selfishness and indifference of Nailan Yurong. For the sake of her own future, this woman completely disregards the life and death of her mother and sister. Such a woman even dares to think of marrying my master, and it is disgusting to hear it. Nailan Yurong glanced at Qing Wan's magic weapon that was being corroded more and more, and she couldn't help laughing. "Nailan He, I see how long you can hold on. I'll stand here, waiting to see your pitiful scarred body." "Oh, is it?" He raised the corner of her mouth, and her eyes were filled with disdain. She said slowly, "It's just a mere heart-corroding mushroom, 1,000 gold vine, poison arrow weed. The poison that is configured wants to kill me?" Nailan Yurong, are you looking down on others too much, or are you too stupid?" What? Nailan Yurong's eyes widened in disbelief. "You? How do you know that?" Before she finished speaking, He took out a bottle of powder and gave it to Little Golden Dragon. Little Golden Dragon smiled immediately after hearing He's words. It swallowed the medicine powder, then it started spraying water against the black cloud. After a while, the black cloud was still black, but the raindrops had turned into a transparent color, and there was no more corrosive effect. Nailan Yurong felt that there was no more corrosive toxicity in the falling rain, and she couldn't help screaming, "What did you do?" He looked at her disdainfully with a faint smile. "Can't you see what I have done? You dare to use this little trick to embarrass yourself? You even say that no one can explain it? The legendary Master Shukong is just so-so." Nailan Yurong couldn't believe her eyes. Is this ugly woman in front of me really Nailan He? Isn't she a coward and incompetent trash that let others trample on her? Why can she crack the poison made by my master? When did Nailan He become so scary? Nailan Yurong suddenly remembered that she heard her father and Nailan Ziyun secretly discussing several times, saying that they must get some kind of relic from Nailan He. Could it be that the relic made that trash, Nailan He, so powerful? Perhaps His Royal Highness King of Hell would look at this bitch differently because he wanted to get the relic in her hands? Thinking of this, Nailan Yurong couldn't help but get excited. If I get the relic in Nailan He's hand, Does it mean that His Royal Highness King of Hell will look at me differently? Nalan Yurong took a deep breath, put away Death Rain disc, and looked straight at Heshi. Nalan Heshi, you were still a trash a year ago, but now you can even cure my master's poison. Tell me honestly, is there any treasure in your hands? Heshi looked at her as if she was looking at an idiot. What are you? You think I'll do as you ask? Nalan Yurong's face was distorted for a while. What she hated most was Nalan Heshi's indifferent and contemptuous eyes, like she didn't put her in her eyes at all. I'm Nalan Yurong, the proudest son of the Nalan family. How can Nalan Heshi look down on me? How? Nalan Yurong gritted her teeth and said fiercely, Sister, let me give you an advice. It's best not to use the little bit of chips in your hand to show off your power. You think, with your half-year experience in the poisoning method, you can compare with my master? If I'm serious, you can't even fight back. If you are sensible, hand over the treasure in your hand, and I can still let you die with an intact corpse. Otherwise, Heshi chuckled lightly, elder sister might as well take out all your trump cards, third sister really wants to try them. According to the rumors, Master Shukong should have represented the pinnacle of the Miluo continent's doctor community, right? What Heshi said was not bluffing. She really wanted to see how good this another world medicine and poison master was. Good. Since you are looking for death, then I will fulfill you. As soon as Nalan Yurong spoke, the death rain disc appeared in her hand again, and it was spinning quickly. It was just that this time it was not black clouds that appeared, but blood-red thunderclouds the size of a fist. The thunderclouds floated in the air with crackling noises one by one, and the air was faintly filled with a bloody and foul smell. As the thunderclouds contacted a table in XNU house, ping-pong noise sounded. Immediately afterward, the table seemed to have been burnt down by fire, turning into powder in the blink of an eye. Qing Wan next to Heshi took a deep breath and murmured, This is Beauty Melt Bone, one of Miluo continent's top poisons. It is said that as long as it is a martial artist who has not reached the nascent soul stage, one drop is enough to kill the martial artist. His bones and flesh will shrink quickly, then he will turn to ashes in a short time. Nalan Yurong laughed when she heard Qing Wan's words. You are quite knowledgeable. This is one of the most powerful poisons developed by the Doctors Association. I didn't want to use this to deal with you. It's not because Beauty Melt Bone is rare and precious, but Beauty Melt Bone let you die too quickly and comfortably. I really don't want that to happen. Qing Wan's eyes were obviously anxious, and she said in a tremble, Miss, what should I do now? How about I protect you to rush out desperately? I have the best defense magic weapon given by the master. Even if my cultivation is ruined, I will get Miss out of here safely. However, Heshi's face did not have the panic that she should have. She looked at the fist-sized thunderclouds floating in the air with a half-smile, and her water spiritual power turned into filaments and probed out, touching these thunderclouds seemingly. The water spiritual power was swallowed up as soon as it hit the thundercloud. But Heshi's face showed a faint smile. Miss, don't hesitate anymore, let's go. Qing Wan shouted anxiously. Nalan Yurong laughed triumphantly when she heard Qing Wan's words. Do you think you can still leave now? Stop dreaming? Of course we can't go. Heshi sneered. But why should we go? Qing Wan, you haven't seen my way of healing and poisoning, right? Qing Wan said, Huh? Her eyes widened in surprise. Little Golden Dragon and Little Egg, who had been silent for a while, started chatting immediately. They weren't anxious at all. Boss, let this shameless arrogant old woman see how good you are. Yes, that's right. My mom is very skillful. Who does she think she is? Mom can defeat her in an instant. What kind of stuff is this? My mother can solve it in minutes. Qing Wan kept her mouth wide open. She said in her heart, This is Beauty Melt Bone, Miluo continent's one of the most poisonous toxin. Even Wu Xing will have a trouble dealing with it. Why are Miss and her spiritual pets so calm? As she was thinking about it, a purple vine appeared in Heshi's hand. The purple leaves on the vine swayed gently as if expressing excitement. Heshi reached out and touched the top of Purple Abyss Vine, and she chuckled, "Don't worry, this beauty melt bone is still kind of powerful. If you just go on it like that, maybe you will be corroded into ashes. Let me coat with a protective film on your vines first." After speaking, Heshi's palm had some light golden powder on her palm. She stretched out her hand and gently wiped it on the vines of Purple Abyss Vine. The original purple vines were dyed with glittering color. Purple Abyss Vine suddenly made a rustling sound as if expressing uncomfortable and itchy. Little Egg clapped and laughed. "Auntie Little Purple has turned golden. She looks good. Shouldn't we call her Auntie Little Golden from now on?" Purple Abyss Vine suddenly became even more unhappy, shaking her leaves in protest. Heshi patted it and smiled. "Oh, let's go. Go and swallow up all the energy in those bloody thunderclouds. When you deal with these thunderclouds, I will remove the golden powder for you. The energy in these thunderclouds is delicious and suitable for you. If you don't eat it, I will destroy them all." Purple Abyss Vine immediately stopped protesting. She raised her long purple gold vines, excitedly rushing toward the nearest few thunderclouds. Seeing Heshi's actions and the purple vines that appeared out of thin air, Nalan Yurong couldn't help but sneered contemptuously, "Idiot, you think this little demonic plant can resist the corrosion of the beauty melt bone? Ha, stop dreaming." Seeing that the bloody thunderclouds gathered more and more, they had already surrounded Nalan Heshi, sealing off her way to retreat. Nalan Yurong couldn't help being more excited. "Soon, you will become a pile of ashes under beauty melt bone." However, before Nalan Yurong hadn't finished speaking, her eyes widened suddenly, and she let out a sharp roar. "How is this possible?" The purple vine went inside the bloody thunderclouds. But it didn't turn into ashes by the toxin, it even devoured the thunderclouds completely. After swallowing the thunderclouds, the excited main vine of Purple Abyss Vine trembled. "It's so delicious. It is even more delicious than those demonic plants in 100 Herb Mist." After Purple Abyss Vine swallowed a thundercloud, it turned around excitedly and started to swallow the second, third. As Nalan Yurong and Qing Luan were astounded, Purple Abyss Vine swallowed up the bloody thunderclouds created by Death Rain Disc in just a few seconds. "Impossible! Impossible! How is this possible?" Nalan Yurong kept backing away while screaming, "This is beauty melt bone, can even devour the rank 6 demonic plant completely. Why can a vine swallow thunderclouds?" Qing Luan's face was also full of disbelief. She couldn't believe her eyes at all. When she looked at Heshi again, her gaze was not just worship, but the fanatic's enthusiasm for watching an idol. "Our princess is really amazing. No wonder even Qing Long, who always alienates himself, said that the only person on Miluo continent who can heal master is our princess." When Purple Abyss Vine returned to Heshi, all the vines seemed to become fatter. They couldn't even shake. But she was still shaking her leaves happily, and there was a grunting sound from time to time as if it was belching. Heshi didn't know whether to laugh or cry as she felt the excitement of Purple Abyss Vine. She gently touched her vines, and the golden powder instantly disappeared without a trace. Nalan Yurong stared at Heshi. Finally, her arrogant voice seemed to have a tremor of fear. "Nalan Heshi, who are you? Why can you neutralize the beauty melt bone? What did your demonic plant just do?" Heshi raised her eyebrows and looked at her with a light smile. Her eyes were full of seeming contempt. "Nalan Yurong, don't you want to know how capable am I? Today I will open your eyes and let you know what is the real poison." As soon as she spoke, Heshi's wrist turned over, and dozens of thin, invisible needles appeared on her fingertips. Unlimited silver needles were launched toward Nalan Yurong. The silver needle was so slender that it was almost invisible, but Nalan Yurong seemed to be able to feel the cold and bloody smell in the air. Extreme fear surged in Nalan Yurong's heart. Heshi can even crack beauty melt bone. How terrifying it is if she uses her poison. If I'm poisoned by this poison, wouldn't I be utterly dead? I'm so young, so beautiful, and so talented, how can I die? Nalan Yurong was panicked, but the invisible needles were in front of her. Her mind went blank. She grabbed Mrs. Nayland by the side and put her in front without thinking. Ah! Mrs. Nayland, who was originally crazy, made a sharp scream. All of the invisible needles landed on her body. Later, she was quickly thrown aside like some terrible garbage by Nayland Yurong. Mrs. Nayland's body twitched violently, and her cloudy eyes suddenly became clear. She looked at Nayland Yurong in disbelief, the eldest daughter whom she spoiled for a lifetime. Nayland Yurong was looking at Nayland Heshi with horror and resentment, but she batted an eye on her biological mother. Mrs. Nayland opened her mouth with difficulty and muttered, "You? How can you?" However, before she finished speaking, she suddenly let out a painful moan. "Itchy! It's so itchy!" Immediately afterward, she began to scratch her whole body frantically. Her face, neck, hands, and even the clothes she had worn on her body were torn apart vigorously. Her long nails scratched into the flesh without stopping. Only a moment later, Mrs. Nayland's entire face was badly mutilated with flesh and blood from her scratches. There was almost no intact skin left on her whole body. Especially when she couldn't catch her back, she kept rubbing and rolling on the ground, making a stern sound in her mouth. The horror and miserable was indescribable. Nayland Yurong was shocked by the scene in front of her. She imagined that if the person who had been poisoned just now was herself, wouldn't all her beauty and appearance be ruined? She took a deep breath. Her gaze looking at Nayland Heshi was not just hate, but a deep fear. Heshi looked at her with a sneer. "Nayland Yurong, you just asked me just now whether I should get God's retribution for hitting my stepmother. Nayland Yaru is your mother, you actually used her as a shield, aren't you afraid of God's retribution? So, what about that?" Nayland Yurong gritted her teeth. Her voice was trembling, but her tone was full of indifference. "I'm the best child of Nayland family and the hope for the future of Nayland family. She is just a crazy madam without any power. There is no need to think about whether whose life is more important. She is my mother. She naturally has to give up her life for me. What's more, if you didn't try to kill me, how did my mother end up like this? Nayland Heshi, you vicious bitch, you dare to complain that to me first?" Nayland Yurong said with great joy, but she did not see tears in the eyes of her mother, who was rolling on the ground. Her eyes were full of disappointment. Heshi was amused by the speech of this elder sister. "If she wants to kill me, I can't fight back? If I fight back, I'm a vicious bitch?" The logic of the Nayland family is still shameless. Heshi was about to speak when suddenly Nayland Jingza's majestic voice came from outside the door. "What happened? What's so noisy? I can even hear it in the front yard." XNU house had just broken the roof and there was another fierce fight. Of course, the people at Nayland Mansion would hear the movement. Moreover, Heshi had no intention of covering it up. Nayland Yurong saw Nayland Jingza as if she had seen a savior, and said with sobs, "Father, save mother quickly. Nayland Heshi actually poisoned her and threatened to kill me." Nayland Jingza, who had just entered the room, immediately looked at his bloody wife, who was rolling and wailing on the ground, and he was shocked. He looked at Nayland Heshi viciously. "You animal, you dare to attack your stepmother. Today I will not let you go." A triumphant smile flashed in Nayland Yurong's eyes, but she cried, "Father, you quickly find a way to save mother. Don't you have Jukulingshan pill? That pill can cure all kinds of poison. It will definitely save mother." There was indeed a Jukulingshan pill on Nayland Jingza, which he left after refining today. But he originally planned to keep it for emergencies. Nayland Jingza didn't want to admit that she, the woman who was no different as a ghost, was his wife, let alone save her. But facing his daughter's request, he still took out the Jukulingshan pill. Nayland Yurong took Jukulingshan pill with a trace of greed and desire in her eyes. This time, apart from investigating Shingda Hall's situation, her master also asked her to find the Jukulingshan pill's formula from home. Master had promised that as long as she gets the Jukulingshan pill formula, she will be admitted to the Doctors Association's inner hall and be promoted to the 5th grade doctor. Even if this Jukulingshan pill was the future and hope of the Nayland family, for her own future, she, Nayland Yurong, must get it. Nayland Yurong lowered her eyebrows, kept the ambition in her eyes. knelt down, and helped Mrs. Nayland up. Although Mrs. Nayland looked like a horrible ghost now, her sanity at this time was clear. So, in her daughter's arms, she saw with her own eyes that Nayland Yurong secretly hid the Jukulingshan pill that she got from Nayland Jingza's arms, but she gave her another very similar red medicinal pills. Mrs. Nayland moaned, and her heart was cold. There was a strong resentment in her heart. Nayland Yurong, this is my eldest daughter whom I loved and cared for 20 years. Everything I did was for her, and I gave everything to her. But how does she treat me now? She didn't save her younger sister Nayland Feishue, she used me as a shield, and now she wanted to watch me die for a Jukulingshan pill. Nayland Yurong, how can you be so outrageously immoral and conscienceless? Mrs. Nayland's chest surged with anger. Her mind went blank suddenly, and she passed out. Nayland Yurong let go of Mrs. Nayland, who spat out white foam and blood and fainted, and exclaimed, "Mother! Mother!" She pretended to be panicked and looked at Nayland Jingza. "Father, what should I do? Even Jukulingshan pill can't cure the poison on Mother." Of course, Jukulingshan pill couldn't cure all the poisons in the world. At least the deadly poisons like blood drunk and beauty melt bone couldn't be cured. However, how many strange deadly poisons could there be in this world? Nayland Jingza's face became extremely ugly. She looked at Nayland Heshi with eyes full of gloominess and hatred. "Impudent child, how do you get the poison? Say it quickly." Heshi looked at the reaction of Nayland Jingza and Nayland Yurong, and she was amused. The two Nayland family members in front of them were really cold-blooded. One used her own mother as a shield, and the other saw that his wife was so miserable, but he cared more about the origin of the poison rather than saving her. Heshi didn't have to think to figure out why Nayland Jingza cared so much about the origin of the poison. Isn't he just want to get in Ling Yue's relic from me? As for the life and death of Mrs. Nayland, no one cares, and no one asked her to cure the poison on Mrs. Nayland. It's so sad enough to think about it. Thinking of this, Heshi made a mocking smile and looked at Nayland Jingza coldly. "Why should I tell you?" Nayland Jingza stretched out his hand and patted it on the table. "Animal, I'm your father. Is that how you talk to your father?" Heshi raised her eyebrows, looked straight into Nayland Jingza's eyes, and then slowly uttered a few words. "My father? Nayland Jingza, are you worthy? Bitch. Animal. Who taught you to treat your father this way? Did you know that disobedience and unfilial piety will face the gods' retribution?" Heshi sneered, her tone full of indifference. "I face the gods' retribution for being unfilial to my biological father, but Nayland Jingza, are you my father? What?" Nayland Jingza shuddered, and his eyes widened in disbelief. Heshi stared tightly into his eyes, saying word by word, "Nayland Jingza, are you really my father? Are you worthy?" Being stared at by Heshi's faintly purple phoenix eyes, Nayland Jingza only felt a shock in his mind as if he had seen the familiar figure saying with the same cold and alienated voice. Almost reflexively he exclaimed, You know already?" As soon as Nayland Jingza said this, Nayland Yurong's eyes widened suddenly. She looked at Nayland Jingza in surprise, then looked at Nayland Heshi again. "What does father mean? Nayland Heshi is not a child of the Nayland family? Who is she then?" Heshi sneered. "Know what? Know that you are not my biological father? Know that you let Nayland Ziyun impersonate my own brother? Know that you do so much just to get my mother's relic from me?" As Heshi said, Nayland Jingza's face became more and more gloomy. His gaze stared at Heshi like a poisonous snake, and he slowly said, "You really knew it. You still acted in front of me. You as shameless as your mother." He took a deep breath and sneered, "Since you know it, you'd better hand over what I want. Don't say that you don't have your mother's relics, otherwise, with your original waste and cowardly appearance, how can you have the glory you have nowadays?" Thinking of the medicine bottle he received a few days ago, he wished he could tear Nayland Heshi this bitch to pieces. "You bitch, even if I'm not your biological father, I still raised you up after all. Your mother's relic, you would rather give it to outsiders like Shiyu and King of Hell than giving it to me. You are so ungrateful, Aren't you afraid of being punished by God's retribution? Nalan Yurong, who was listening by the side, looked even more shocked. It could only be described as horrified. Shiyu? Isn't Shiyu the owner of Shengda Hall? That amazing young doctor? Could it be that Nalan Heshi handed over the relic in her hands to Shiyu, so that she can achieve what she has now? All the best quality pills in Shengda Hall come from the relic in the hands of Nalan Heshi? Thinking of this, Nalan Yurong was agitated. If I obtain this relic, doesn't it mean that I can be powerful in the Doctors' Association? Even His Royal Highness King of Hell will come to marry her. Heshi finally couldn't help laughing after hearing this. Nalan Jingza, you all conscienceless people of the Nalan family, why do you all always like to say God's retribution? If conscienceless people should be punished by God, shouldn't you all the first to be punished? Nalan Jingza's face was distorted for a while. He didn't know how much Heshi knew, but at this time he dared not say more. However, Nalan Jingza immediately calmed down after thinking of another matter. He looked at Heshi coldly and said, "Hee, you can continue to be arrogant in front of me. But you may not know, you are already inflicted by my poison. After 3 days at most, the poison on your body will be triggered. As long as you give me your mother's relic, I will give you the antidote. How about that?" Nalan Zengzahaf looked at Heshi with a smile. His heart was filled with certainty. "I know you have gained some skills after getting your mother's relic, but this poison is definitely not something you can neutralize. This poison comes from Thousand Poison Valley. Except for Thousand Poison Valley owner who has an antidote, it cannot be cured at all. With your level, you can only wait for death." Heshi sighed, watching Nalan Jingza and his daughter's eyes full of pity and sarcasm. She said leisurely, "Why poison again? It is even a poison that no one can cure. This poison is indeed interesting. The main medicine is intestine sever powder, which is obviously a poison, but it is colorless and tasteless, and there is no response after taking it. It can also delay the onset of the poison. The reason is that it is added with 1,000 phantoms gallon, right? 1,000 phantoms gallon, that is a demonic plant that has disappeared in the Miluo continent, and it may not even be found in the magical beast forest. You actually used such a precious medicine on me. I'm really flattered." Nalan Jingza was shocked. His eyes were full of horror. "You? How do you know?" Nalan Jingza and Nalan Yurong were really father and son. They reacted in sync. Although the girl in front of her didn't look amazing, her phoenix eyes were gleaming as she slightly squinted. She was obviously a thin and weak girl, but she was looking down on him like a god looking down at a mortal. Nalan Jingza trembled all over. He almost couldn't help exclaiming, "And Lingyue!" At this moment he seemed to see the shadow of an Lingyue. The person who looked at him was no longer the useless Nalan Heshi, but the pretty and talented an Lingyue. Nalan Jingza took a step back subconsciously, then he recollected his mind. He squeezed his fist in anger, and he stared at Heshi fiercely. "Bitch, even if you realize that it is 1,000 phantasms gallon, there is no way for you to cure its poison. You better hand out the item, otherwise..." Before Nalan Jingza finished speaking, there was a sudden rush of footsteps behind him. Master, it's not good." The butler rushed to Nalan Jingza with a head full of sweat. "Master, you should go to the front hall quickly." "What happened? Why are you making a fuss?" Nalan Jingza stared at the housekeeper sternly. But the housekeeper didn't seem to notice Nalan Jingza's annoyance at all. He just trembled with fear and panic. "Master, the people who bought Jukulingshan pill before have come. They said that there is a problem with the medicinal pills they bought. They all come to ask for an explanation. Master, you should go and see now." Nalan Jingza exclaimed, "How is this possible?" His face was full of horror and confusion. "I have been refining the Jukulingshan pill with the same method. How anything go wrong? If Jukulingshan pill has a problem, what hope does my Nalan family have?" Nalan Jingza was anxious, and his hands shook slightly. "You go to the front hall to comfort the guests first, then tell them I will be there soon." After the butler left, Nalan Jingza gave Heshi a fierce look, and he said to the guards beside him, "Guard this XNU house properly. If this bitch escapes, I will let you all die without a place to bury. After he finished speaking, he hurried away, because he was so flustered that he almost tripped over his own feet when he left the courtyard. He looked at Nailan Jingza's leaving back, and she couldn't help showing a mocking smile. Nailan Yurong, who was still in the room, stared greedily and hatefully at He. Finally, she couldn't help asking, "Sister, what is the relic in your hand? Is it the best quality pill of Shengdahal?" He turned around and looked at her with a half-smile. She didn't speak. Nailan Yurong clenched her fists, trying to maintain her kind and gentle expression. "Sister, you just heard what Father said. You have been poisoned by him, and he will never let you go. Father has always been cruel. If you fall into his hands, even if you hand over your mother's relic, you will never end well. Why don't you give me that relic?" He raised his eyebrows. "Give it to you? Just because you just wanted to kill me over and over again?" Nailan Yurong's eyes flashed gloomily. She said coldly, "Nailan He, you better don't be ungrateful. I ask you to hand over the relic because I want to help you. I'm the disciple of Master Shukong. Even Father has to give face to me. Only I can save you now. If you hand over the relic obediently, I can still plead for you in front of my master. Maybe he will also accept you as a registered discipline, then your future will be very promising. Otherwise, you will wait for the rest of your life to be locked in a dungeon by Father and spend the rest of your life in darkness. Which choice is better, don't you understand it?" He shook her head and smiled. "Elder sister is right. After seeing you and Nailan Jingza, I also changed my mind a little. Are you going to give me your mother's relic?" Nailan Yurong thought she had finally compromised, and her whole body trembled with excitement. "Quick! Show me those pill formulas." He shook her head again and slowly said, "I initially planned to keep you and Nailan Jingza to slowly torment you too so that you too will die after suffering. But now I have changed my mind, Nailan Yurong. All your behaviors really disgust me. I have decided you will die now." As soon as she spoke, the sky full of purple vines whizzed up into the sky, enveloping this small room and isolating time and void. The guards left by Nailan Jingza were guarding outside the room, and Nailan Jingza had never thought that his elder daughter who was at the peak of the meridian stage would lose to Nailan He, so he didn't let those guards in either. Now, the purple vines covered the hut, which meant an enchantment was set up. It isolated sound and movement. Even those guards looked inside. They couldn't notice any strange. Nailan Yurong's eyes widened in horror. Feeling the majestic spiritual power surging at her, she couldn't believe what she saw. Isn't that Nailan He can't cultivate? Didn't she have no cultivation? Why is she exuding such a terrifying spirit pressure and showing such a powerful force? Nailan Yurong desperately backed away, trying to escape. She said in a trembled voice, "Who exactly are you?" He chuckled and did not answer. As her finger channeled spiritual power, the sharp purple vines suddenly rushed toward Nailan Yurong. Now He's true strength had reached the terrifying advanced level of the gold core stage. Although her cultivation level was still the meridian stage, it was definitely not something that an ordinary meridian stage cultivator like Nailan Yurong could resist. She didn't even have the power to resist He's one blow. There was a terrifying whipping sound in her ears, followed by a sharp pain in my shoulders, stomach, and hands and feet. Nailan Yurong couldn't even react, then she was pierced by purple vines. Fear and despair overwhelmed her. Looking at He, she felt for the first time the horror and cruelty of her sister she had looked down on before. Am I going to die here? Nailan Yurong felt that the purple vines that had pierced her body began to suck her flesh and blood, and this acknowledgement almost made her lose her mind. Do not. I don't want to die here. Let alone dying in the bitch, Nailan He's hands. I still want to become famous in the Miluo continent. I also want to marry His Royal Highness King of Hell. I also want to become a pillar of the Doctors' Association. Ah! Nailan Yurong let out a scream, then she suddenly crushed an inscribed jade slip in her hand. Immediately afterward, a violent light burst out of the inscribed jade slip, covering her body. He frowned. She felt a magical and powerful array force in the inscribed jade slip. It was similar to the teleportation array. Now, Nalan Yurong was being taken to an unknown place by this force. Nalan Yurong stared at Nalan Heshi viciously, gritted his teeth, and said word by word, "You actually hurt me to such extent, Nalan Heshi, what you did to me today, one day I will let you pay the price for thousands of times. Bitch, just you wait." If she could, she didn't want to use this inscribed random teleportation jade slip at all. Although this inscribed jade slip could help her escape the danger of death, she didn't know where it would take her. It may be the abyss, it may be the 1,000-year-old ice field, it may be the magical beast forest. If she was randomly teleported to such a place, her survival rate wouldn't even have 30%. All this is because of the bitch, Nalan Heshi. Seeing Nalan Yurong, who had completely disappeared on the spot, Heshi frowned. She didn't expect Nalan Yurong to be able to run away. Inscribed teleportation jade slip? Last time in Breaking Spirit Mountain, that Mr. Mu seemed to have used it too. I didn't expect there are so many applications of array in the Miluo continent. It seems that I have to find an opportunity to study it. Qing Wan leaned close to Heshi and frowned. "Miss, is it okay to let Nalan Yurong run away? She already knows that Miss has cultivation, and she also knows that you are not the biological daughter of the Nalan family. If she spreads out the news, and she is even Master Shukong's discipline, if she reports to her master, it doesn't matter." Heshi said lightly. "I have never intentionally concealed my true identity. I just don't want too much troubles." As for the Doctors Association, even if there is no Nalan Yurong, as long as Shengda Hall is still working with Shen family to break their monopoly, one day they will still come to me. There is nothing to worry about. Qing Wan nodded, and her expression also relaxed. She remembered Nalan Jingze, who had just left in a hurry, and she couldn't help but curiously ask, "Miss, what happened to Nalan Jingze's medicine? Isn't Juku Lingshan pill Nalan Jingze's unique secret? Why is there a problem now?" Heshi glanced at her and said with a half-smile, "Unique secret? It has become life-threatening curse now. You and I just need to wait here to watch the show." Qing Wan's eyes lit up, looking forward to the next scandal of the Nalan family. By this time, Nalan Jingze had hurried to the front hall of the Nalan family. Before he entered the door, he saw a man wearing brocade rushing up and grabbing his collar. He angrily said, "Nalan Jingze, I, the prince, ordered Juku Lingshan pill with you for the first time to use this medicinal pills to save my beloved wife. You actually used such a thing to fool me? Now that my beloved wife was dead, you will pay the price with your life." Nalan Jingze was grabbed by the collar as soon as he came in. He stumbled for being grabbed, and he felt very dizzy. All his ears were filled with angry roars from the people. There were also chattering sounds of other people behind him. Everyone was spitting on his face. He couldn't react to it for a while. When he finally recovered, he pushed away the person who was grabbing him, and he finally saw the person's looks. The person was the sixth prince of the Jinling kingdom, Shangguan Heng, and the nephew of Zhu family Zhu Yichun. At this time, Shangguan Heng was full of anger, and the grace and composure he had when he helped Zhu Yichun to propose marriage together had disappeared. Shangguan Heng's words even made Nalan Jingze's heart stunned. Is there really something wrong with Juku Lingshan pill? This is impossible. It must be because the illness of the sixth prince's wife was not caused by poisoning. Thinking of this, Nalan Jingze cleared his throat and said sternly, "Sixth prince, please don't simply put the blame on me. The Juku Lingshan pill of my Nalan family has never had a problem. How many people have been saved by these medicinal pills? Sixth prince, your wife could not be saved. Maybe it was because your concubine was not poisoned, but it was another strange disease." When the sixth prince heard this, he was furious and interrupted sharply, "You dare to say that I'm blaming you?" It's just that before the sixth prince finished speaking, an old man with a white beard came forward and smashed a red medicinal pill at Nalan Jingze's face. It was possible that the sixth prince's wife wasn't poisoned, but it wasn't my first time buying this medicine from miracle healer Nalan. Therefore, it is impossible to not know the authenticity of Juku Lingshan pill, right? Nalan Jingze, we give you face by calling you a miracle healer. Do you really think an old man like me is easy to bully with? You actually use the fake medicinal pill to fool us. The red medicinal pill that was thrown at Nailin was picked up by him. When he looked up and saw the face of the person who was questioning, his heart beat. He spoke in a tremble, "Elder Han, why did you say this? My Jukulingshan pill never has any problem with it." The white-bearded elder was one of the elders of the Shuai sect. Although he was not yet at the nascent soul stage, he was already the pinnacle of the gold core stage. He had some status in the Shuai sect, and he was definitely not someone Nailin could afford to offend. Hearing Nailin words, Elder Han sneered, "You really think I'm an old fool? I still can't distinguish whether the medicinal pills are useful or not. Today, we will forget it if you give us the real Jukulingshan pill as compensation. Otherwise, I will destroy your Nailin mansion." Elder Han's words caused other people who were deceived to curse loudly. "You Nailin are so great. You actually dared to use fake pills to fool us. Are we really so easy to fool? Are you getting so old and useless that you can't even refine Jukulingshan pill? If that's the case, repay us double the price we paid. Yes, either double repayment or give us the Jukulingshan pill, otherwise we will smash Nailin mansion." Nailin only felt a buzzing in his ears. His heart was full of panic and anxiety. But he still didn't believe that his Jukulingshan pill would go wrong. Therefore, he picked up the red medicinal pill and stuffed it into his mouth. However, after the medicinal pills entered the body, the original clear and mellow vitality did not appear as usual. Has Jukulingshan pill really lost its effectiveness? What? I obviously used the same refining method. Nailin murmured, "Impossible, it's impossible for it to be ineffective. How could it be possible? Is this a fake Jukulingshan pill? Yes, it must be fake. This is not my Jukulingshan pill." Before Nailin had finished speaking, Elder Han waved his hand and slapped his face ruthlessly. Nailin was caught off guard. He rolled on the ground hard, knocking his head on the pillar. Blood was streaming out, making him look very embarrassed. Elder Han looked at him viciously. "Nailin you actually accused me of fooling you with a fake Jukulingshan pill. Are you tired of living?" Among the people who came to complain, one of them mingled with the gangsters. When he saw that Nailin was being slapped by Elder Han like nobody and he noticed that Nailin couldn't take out any real Jukulingshan pill, he suddenly shouted. Nailin even dared to slander Elder Han. "It seems that he is not ready to compensate us for our losses. We might as well smash the Nailin family to express our anger." That's right, who knows if Nailin can produce the real Jukulingshan pill tomorrow. If he can't take it out for 1 day, we'll smash for 1 day. If he can't take it out for 2 days, we will smash for 2 days until he compensates us for the loss. This person's proposal immediately got everyone's response. Martial artists generally had storage devices. Of course, they knew that Nailin wouldn't put too many valuable treasures in the mansion. But since they were fooled by Nailin with fake medicinal pills, it would be good to vent their anger by smashing his house. Nailin was having a chest pain being slapped by Elder Han. Seeing this group of people swarming into his home and smashing everything, he suddenly felt blood surged from his chest and spewed another mouthful of blood. "Stop it! You guys stop it!" The group didn't go to the backyard. They just smashed the front yard of the Nailin mansion and returned to the main hall with satisfaction. Elder Han looked at Nailin condescendingly and said coldly, "Nailin I will give you 3 more days. If you can hand over the real Jukulingshan pill, then I'll forget it. Otherwise, don't blame me Shuai sect for being rude." After speaking, he walked away angrily with Shuai sect's disciples. The 6th prince also walked up to Nailin and looked at him contemptuously. It turns out that the name of the number 1 miracle healer in the Jinling kingdom is fake. If you can't hand over Jukulingshan pill this time, I will report to my father. Your miracle healer title will be removed from now on. After 6th prince left, other sects and families ran over to sneer at Nailin. The gangster martial artist even spat at Nailin before he swayed away. Nailin stumbled into the messy living room. His body was shaking. Nailan Jingza had enjoyed glory for a lifetime. He had never suffered such humiliation. Jukulingshan pill. Why does Jukulingshan pill fail? Nailan Jingza stood up abruptly from the ground. Ignoring the pain in his chest, he hurriedly walked toward his study room. After entering the underground cave, he saw the figures still curled up on the ground wearing a helmet. Nailan Jingza thought of the humiliation he had just received, and anger rose from his heart. But why does Jukulingshan pill fail? Son of bitch, are you trying to mess with me? Nailan Jingza whipped the medicine man in the cave. As the barbed whip hit on the medicine man, he screamed in pain. But Nailan Jingza still didn't feel relieved. He stepped forward and severely stepped and broke the medicine man calf bone. Amid the crisp breaking sound, the medicine man let out a miserable howl. The sound even made the entire iron helmet hum. Nailan Jingza finally felt a little satisfied. He threw away his whip and sneered, "You'd better pray that your blood is still useful, otherwise, I will let you taste absolute desperation." After speaking, he took the knife and cut open the arm of the medicine man. But Nailan Jingza deliberately used spiritual power to explore this time. He found that there was indeed no strong vitality in the blood. Moreover, the scars on the arms of this medicine man should be healed in at most one night, but now after using external injury medicine, it didn't heal even after a few days. Could it be that the blood of medicine man really lose its effectiveness? No, this is absolutely impossible. Nailan Jingza took the bowl of blood unwillingly and went to the backyard. He casually grabbed a servant, fed him a deadly poison, and poured the blood of the medicine man into his mouth. However, after a few seconds, the servant rolled his eyes and vomited bubbles. He was utterly dead. At this moment, Nailan Jingza was really scared. Jukulingshan pill is the foundation of my life. If I lose Jukulingshan pill, how can I, Nailan Jingza, ever be famous again? How can I gain a foothold in the Doctors' Association? How can I become the first miracle healer in the Jinling Kingdom? But why does the blood that can cure all poisons fail? Is it because that animal's special physique was squeezed too much by himself, and now it is finally worn away, it will no longer be useful? What should I do in the future? How can I refine Jukulingshan? How can I support the Nailan family? Thinking of the cruel words of Elder Han and the others and the today and the blame he was going to face tomorrow, Nailan Jingza looked terrified. He couldn't help tremble for a moment. Suddenly, the image of Enlingyue and Nailan Heshi appeared before his eyes. Enlingyue's relic. Nailan Jingza woke up suddenly. Yes, now only Enlingyue's relic can save the Nailan family. I must get it. He now had no way out. The only way was to force Nailan Heshi to hand over the prescription for the best quality pill. That's right, as long as I have the best quality pill formula like the bone muscle enhancement pill, let alone Elder Han, even the Doctors' Association will treat me as an honorable guest. Until then, do I still need Jukulingshan pill? Thinking of this, Nailan Jingza immediately clapped. Soon several guards dressed in black appeared in front of him. These people were the dead soldiers raised by the Nailan family. Although some of them were dead in order to spy Nailan Heshi some time ago, many of them still followed Nailan Jingza. Nailan Jingza said with a sullen face, "Tie up that bitch and bring her to my study room. Everything must be brought here, including her maids and her belongings." The guard quickly lowered his head. "Yes, master." Looking at the direction of the guard disappearing, Nailan Jingza's mouth showed a sinister smile. After about 15 minutes, Nailan Jingza, who was sitting in the study room, turned around when he heard the sound. The door of the study room was pushed open, and Nailan Heshi and her maid named Qing Luan appeared at the door of the study room. But to Nailan Jingza's surprise, Nailan Heshi was not tied up. She walked into his study room with a smile instead. Nailan Jingza's face changed uncertainly and he said solemnly, "Where are the people I sent to bring you here?" Heshi smiled without answering him. It was Qing Luan who replied coldly, "Is Nailan Jingza talking about the stinky man who wanted to control us as he entered Xanyu house?" "Sorry, I see that he had ill intention, So I have beheaded him. You? How dare you? Nalan Jingza's face was extremely ugly. He was looking at Qing Luan with fear. He didn't even look at Nalan Jingza at all. She calmly found a place to sit down, then she said, Master Nalan, what do you want to call me here? I'll leave if there is nothing. Nalan Jingza looked at him sullenly. His eyes were like a poisoned sword. Are you still reluctant to hand over the things? He smiled slightly. I'm sorry, I don't understand what Master Nalan wants me to handle. Nalan Jingza sneered. Nalan He, you can still be stubborn, but when you see him, you will know that you have no capital to play tricks with me. Oh. He raised his eyebrows. Then I'm really curious, what does Master Nalan want me to see? Nalan Jingza squinted, got up and walked to the array. He casually did something at the array, and the door of the secret room was opened. The figure who was tied behind the secret room's door fell down. Nalan Jingza pulled him out mercilessly, stepped on his chest, and looked at He with a snur. Do you know who this person is? The person he stepped on was covered with dirt. This man was wearing an iron helmet on his head. His hands were covered with scars. A huge scar on his hands was still bleeding. The leg bones of his 2 lower legs were fractured. When he crawled, the injury made him so painful that he kept groaning in pain. He's expression was calm. She did not answer his words, but she slowly asked, compared with who this person is, I'm more curious about who is my biological father? Father, how do you all have father? You all are illegitimate child. Once someone asked this question, Nalan Jingza could no longer maintain his original calmness. He almost roared hysterically. And Lingyue, that flirtatious woman, was pregnant when she came to Nalan Mansion. She even used the pill formula to threaten me to protect her. She let me hide her in the Nalan family as my concubine. Since she has become my concubine, she is naturally my woman. Why didn't she let me touch her? She even cautiously alienated from me? Every day, she pretended to be aloof and inviolable in front of me. Pooey, bitch. Who knows how many men she had slept with? Nalan Jingza became more and more excited as she spoke. If that bitch knew that her 2 children were miserably tortured by me, she must regret not submitting to me and become my woman. Isn't Lingyue really dead? He's voice was clear and fair-sounding, but it inexplicably had a charming power. How did she die? Of course she is dead. Nalan Jingza yelled. That damn bitch, she didn't even leave her corpse after she died. I don't know where the pill formulas were hidden. I searched through every place of XNU house. I even severely wounded Mammy Chen and searched her soul, but failed to find the location of those pill formulas. And Lingyue, since you are ruthless and unrighteous, don't blame me for abusing your son and daughter, making them worse than an animal. As Nalan Jingza said, he looked at He, and he suddenly increased the strength of his feet. The bone-fracturing sound could be heard, then it was followed by a more miserable howl. It was obvious that his rib was broken by Nalan Jingza. Nalan Jingza chuckled and said, Nalan He, don't you want to know who he is? He looked at him calmly. There was no sadness or joy in her eyes, but there was a touch of mockery. This kind of ridicule made Nalan Jingza irritated, and he sternly said, Didn't you know that Nalan Ziyun pretended to be your brother? Then do you know where is your real brother? I can tell you today, this hideous person at my feet who lives a miserable life is your younger brother, the real Nalan Ziyun. Nalan Jingza pursed his lips as if recalling something. His eyes were gleaming. You must be curious why he became like this? Do you remember that when you were young, you had a high fever because of Fei Shue's teasing? Nalan Ziyun saw you were thirsty and wanted to find water to feed you, but the servants didn't listen to him. He couldn't find water, so he had to cut off his wrist and feed you with his blood. Who knows, his blood detoxified the poison in your body and restore you to the original state. Nalan Jingza's words finally changed He's expression slightly. She searched through the memory of the original owner and finally found that impression in the distant fuzzy corner. The little immature child kept calling her sister in her ear, and she was confused and could not say anything. She just felt her chest was burning and her throat was thirsty, so she could not stop muttering, water. Then, she felt a refreshing sweet liquid flowing into her dry lips, slowly nourishing her injured internal organs and letting the tormenting pain slowly disappear. That was my brother's blood. It turned out that Xiao-Qi in this life was the same as her brother in the previous life, desperately protecting her sister, even if he had to sacrifice everything. Nailan Jingzi saw that her face was moved, and he was very satisfied. He continued, "He saved you back then, but because he saved you, I discovered that his blood has such a magical effect. I use his blood as the main material to refine the Jukulingshan pill, which also made my Nailan family standing in the position of the 4 great families in the Jinling kingdom. Nailan Heshi, you can say that your brother was imprisoned by me for a dozen years because of you. Don't you want to save him?" Heshi nodded and said, "Want." This simple one-word answer made Nailan Jingzi overjoyed. This bitch, Nailan Heshi, had persisted for so many days. Now seeing his brother, she finally decided to compromise. "Since you want to save your brother, then immediately exchange him with your mother's relics. As long as you give me all the pill formulas and treasures left by Enlingyue, I will let him go. How about that?" Seeing Heshi took a step forward, her maid also followed up. Nailan Jingzi hurriedly said, "Don't try to take your brother from my hand forcibly. I have fed him the poison. If it isn't cured in half an hour, he will die horribly. I know you are capable of curing poison. However, do you really want to bet it with your younger brother's life and his saving grace to you?" Heshi stopped and said with a sneer, "You said he is my younger brother, then he is my younger brother? How do I know if you fake another Nailan Ziyun to lie to me?" You are really stubborn." Nailan Jingzi sneered, "You don't believe that he is your brother? Well, I will show you his true face now. You are twins, although you two don't look exactly the same, his appearance is at least similar to you. When you see it, you know I'm not lying to you." As he said, he quickly took out the key and opened the iron helmet. The helmet fell to the ground with a bang, and under the helmet was a face with disheveled hair. Nailan Jingzi didn't even look at that face. Instead, he grabbed his hair and forced him to raise his head toward Heshi. He laughed and said, "Nailan Heshi, see clearly, is this your brother? You two are Enlingyue's illegitimate children. You two look very similar to her. You can recognize this at a glance." That face clearly appeared in front of Heshi and Qing Wan. Although the face was dirty, the facial features could still be clearly recognized. Qing Wan saw that person's face clearly, and she couldn't help but chuckle and laughed. "You said this is the younger brother of our miss? You said this person looks similar to our miss? Nailan Jingzi, are you getting crazy?" Nailan Jingzi was startled, but he didn't realize what Qing Wan meant. Heshi smiled coldly. She launched the invisible needle at the acupuncture point of the medicine man. Suddenly, the medicine man cried out in horror with a hoarse voice, "Father, father, it's me. I'm Ziyun. Father, save me." "What?" Nailan Jingzi suddenly loosened his hand when he heard the voice, and the person he was holding fell to the ground with a bang. After the impact, the ribs that had been fractured immediately pierced into his internal organs, causing a stern cry. Nailan Jingzi lowered his head in a tremble, and he saw the face of his beloved son Nailan Ziyun. His face at this time could no longer be described as pale, but it was filled with the gloominess of death. Because the lobes of the lungs were punctured by the ribs, he kept spraying bleeding foam in his mouth, and his breathing became weaker and weaker. His life was about to die. "Ziyun, Ziyun, how could it be you?" Nailan Jingzi trembled all over, trying to help her son, but the hand that was stretched out seemed stiff and frozen. He seemed to have lost his strength. Finally, he took out a healing medicinal pill and wanted to feed it into Nailan Ziyun's mouth. "Ziyun, you won't die. Father won't let you die. You are Father's most beloved son." Nailan Ziyun's eyes were full of fear and anticipation. He opened his mouth and fed him the medicinal pill. "Father is right, I will not die. I still have a great and bright future. I still want to revenge on that vicious woman Nailan Heshi. I still have so many things to do." As the medicinal pill was swallowed into his abdomen, The cold that was about to take away his vitality faded away. Nalan Ziyun's face showed a smile of surviving a disaster. Nalan Jingze also breathed a sigh of relief. He was about to ask people to come in and carry the young master down to recuperate. Suddenly, Nalan Ziyun's face twisted. Immediately afterward, a purple-green gas filled his cheeks, causing him to twitch and twist. Ziyun. There was a clear look of panic and fear on Nalan Jingze's face. He recognized it. This is the symptom of the poison I fed Nalan Ziyun. But, isn't there obviously still half an hour before it triggers? There is no cure for this deadly poison, except Juku Lingshan pill. He initially had no intention of letting Nalan Heshi's younger brother live. He initially wanted to kill Enling Yue's illegitimate children getting her relics. But now, this poison was going to kill his most beloved son. No, I don't want to die. Father, save me, save me. Save. Nalan Ziyun's hand tightly pinched into Nalan Jingze's wrist, desperately trying to ask for help and want to talk. However, a mouthful of blood surged out, and he rolled his eyes. In the end, his heart stopped beating and he became a dead body. Nalan Jingze looked at Nalan Ziyun staring blankly with the unwillingness to die, only to feel a buzz in his head. He stood up suddenly and rushed toward Heshi frantically. Bitch, it's you. You killed my son. I want you to pay with your life. The spiritual power of Nalan Jingze skyrocketed, but his movements were disordered. He didn't even cast the flying sword. Qing Wan snorted contemptuously. She stepped forward to fight with Nalan Jingze. Although Nalan Jingze was a martial artist of the gold core stage, he had been immersed in pill refining and the urge to seek glory and prosperity for many years. How could he have time to improve his cultivation? Qing Wan was also of the gold core stage, but she was carefully and secretly cultivated in the King of Hell Mansion. The difference in power could be seen at a glance. After just a few minutes, Nalan Jingze was knocked to the ground by Qing Wan. He was vomiting blood with a pale face. He stared at Heshi fiercely and yelled hysterically, Bitch, do you think you can escape from the Nalan Mansion? Even if I will lose Enling Yue's relics, I must let you bitch die horribly. I will use your flesh and blood to pay for my son Ziyun's life. As soon as Nalan Jingze spoke, he suddenly crushed the SOS inscribed jade slip. Qing Wan glanced at Heshi with a solemn expression, and she was also holding a jade slip. Miss, do you want me to summon Master now? Why do you say like your master is someone who can simply summon here and there? Heshi coughed and shook her head. No need, I can feel that the range of this inscribed jade slip is not far away. He probably just summoned the elders and guards of the Nalan Mansion. This is just right, it saves me the trouble to eliminate the root of the problem. Now I can solve it once and for all. Qing Wan was extremely convinced by Heshi now. She no longer doubts Heshi's words. As expected, just as Heshi said, after a while, the people of the Nalan Mansion appeared and surrounded the study room. Among them was a master of the gold core stage, Nalan Xingming. Most of the others were martial artists of the Meridian stage. Their strength should not be underestimated. As soon as Nalan Jingze saw Nalan Xingming, he immediately shouted, Third Elder, Nalan Heshi is so rebellious that she wanted to kill her father. Her brother, Nalan Ziyun, also died in this cruel woman's hand. Third Elder, you must not let him go. When Nalan Xingming received the call, he was taken aback by the sight in front of him. He originally wanted to break through to the advanced level of the gold core stage behind closed doors, but he unexpectedly received Nalan Jingze's call for help. He thought it was a powerful enemy invading Nalan family. Who knows, what he saw was Nalan Heshi, the little girl, beat Nalan Jingze until he vomited blood. He frowned and said, Nalan Heshi, you are so rebellious. You actually hurt your father? You still don't kneel down and admit your mistakes? Heshi smiled lightly. Her eyes were full of contempt, but she said nothing. Nalan Jingze hurriedly shouted, Third Elder, this Nalan Heshi colluded with the outsider Shiyu. The maid next to her was sent by Shiyu. She has great ability. Even I'm not her opponent. This animal gave all of Enling Yue's relics to Shiyu in exchange for Shiyu's help. The best quality pills and pill formulas sold in Shengde Hall should have belonged to our Nailin family. What? Is what you said true? Now, let alone Nailin Xingming, the rest of the Nailin family were all shocked. After the shock, they felt incredible ecstasy. Shengde Hall was now popular in the Jinling kingdom today. Even the Shen family of Qingxia sect treated the little shopkeeper in Shengde Hall respectfully. But wasn't it because of the powerful and mysterious best quality pill that Shengde Hall could provide? If those best quality pills belonged to us, wouldn't our Nailin family? The thought of this made Nailin Xingming and the others excited. Several martial artists at the peak of the meridian stage surrounded Heshi and Qing Luan in the center. Nailin Xing stared at Heshi with a hot gaze. He said in a deep voice, "Little girl, I know that your father was not good enough for you before and made you wronged, but you are the people of the Nailin family." Before Nailin Xingming had finished speaking, Heshi had already made a long sigh. She said slowly as if she was bored, "Enough with your nonsense already. I was willing to chatter with you because I was having a good mood, but now I'm already impatient. So you guys should all die. You." Nailin Xingming was interrupted, and he was furious when he heard such a rude declaration from Heshi. Nailin Jingze had already eaten medicinal pills and stood up. He said bitterly, "Third elder, this slut is relying on the maid next to her. This maid is indeed strong in cultivation. She definitely has the level of the gold core stage. Isn't it just a gold core stage? Could it be that I, Nailin Xingming, would be afraid of her?" Nailin Xingming coldly snorted, "I'm going to hold her maid, you guys go and control Nailin Heshi. Before we get in Ling Yue's relics, you can't let her die." Qing Wan glanced at the group of people surrounding the two with a stern look. Her eyes were full of contempt, just a bunch of useless people. Only the old man at the intermediate level of the gold core stage is still worth fighting. "Miss, let me deal with the old man first." "No need." Heshi took out Li Shui's sword faintly. There was a clear and beautiful voice like a wind sings, "I don't want to waste time with them. I'll deal with all of them at once." As soon as she spoke, the purple vines suddenly rose from her body. The vines were like tornadoes. Wherever they went, they smashed the walls and roof of the entire study room. The flying stones and rubble fell one after another on scattered Nailin Jingze and others, but none of them fell on Heshi. Nailin Jingze and Nailin Xingming were in a panic, but they couldn't even wipe the dust off their faces. They just stared at Nailin Heshi with horror. The girl's figure was weak and didn't look pretty in appearance, but the crazy surging spiritual power was so powerful that Nailin Xingming trembled in fear. Nailin Jingze's feeling at this time was more frightened and crazier than when he saw Nailin Ziyun's face under the iron helmet. No. This is impossible. That was Nailin Heshi. Although he tortured her, he secretly instigated the servants to abuse her, watching her live like a pig. He had never relaxed his surveillance on her. Nailin Heshi is so weak, so incompetent, so useless. How could she be the one in front who can exude a strong spirit pressure and make me feel desperate? Who are you? You're not Nailin Heshi. Who are you? Nailin Jingze let out a hoarse scream as if to convince the others and himself. Heshi smiled softly, and the purple vines instantly got back into her body as if they were conscious. She looked at Nailin Jingze coldly and sneered cruelly at the father whom Nailin Heshi admired and looked forward to. "Of course I'm Nailin Heshi, my dear father. You have been monitoring me for 17 years. Don't you even know me now?" After a pause, her voice suddenly became cold. The voice was clearly pleasant to ears, but it was strangely cold like it was from hell. "I'm Nailin Heshi, but I'm not the original Nailin Heshi. The original Nailin Heshi has been forced to death by you animals. Now standing in front of you is Nailin Heshi who has crawled back from hell. Are you ready to repay your debt?" Li Shui's sword rose to the sky after she spoke. Just before Nailin Jingze and Nailin Xingming could react, swords rained down from the sky. Flying flower sword rain, thousands of arrows pierced the heart. Even in Breaking Spirit Mountain, Heshi's move could easily kill a rank 5 magical beast. What's more, after experiencing the battle of Breaking Spirit Mountain and cultivated behind closed doors, her current strength was no longer comparable to her previous strength. The rain of swords all over the sky was like death taking away their souls. Before these martial artists could react, the swords had penetrated their bodies directly. Some people even looked at Heshi with a contemptuous expression on their faces, thinking that she was just a little girl. So what if she was powerful? However, before their expressions changed, they felt a sharp pain. Then they completely lost their consciousness. In just a few seconds, the study room was razed to the ground. The martial artists who originally stood here around Heshi had countless holes on their bodies. Except for Nailan Jingze and Nailan Xingming, a dozen martial artists of the Meridian stage died. Nailan Jingze was trembling all over. At this moment, he was looking at Heshi like he saw a horrifying ghost. Could it be that Nailan Heshi really climbed back from hell to take revenge? Am I really going to die in the hands of Nailan Heshi today? I don't want to die. Thinking of death, Nailan Jingze trembled. All his hatred on Nailan Heshi turned into fear and a desire for survival. His knees softened, and he kneeled to the ground, kowtowing toward Heshi. Heshi, I was wrong. Father was wrong for not taking good care of you. However, for the sake of saving your mother and letting you live for 17 years, please forgive me. Spare my life. Heshi sneered slightly and turned her gaze at Nailan Xingming. How would Nailan Xingming be afraid of this little girl? However, after the previous massacre plus the pair of gorgeous phoenix eyes, he felt a chill down his spine. He staggered back for one step. But this place was originally a study room after all. There were rubble and stones everywhere. With this stagger, Nailan Xingming tripped over a boulder and fell on the ground. Seeing Heshi took a step toward him, he immediately screamed, "Don't kill me! Don't kill me! All this is done by Nailan Jingze. It has nothing to do with me. I don't even know and Lingyue left some relics behind. Please let me go." Heshi pursed her lips and was about to speak. Little Golden Dragon suddenly jumped out and hovered high in the sky. He smiled at the two people who were begging embarrassedly, "You all want my boss to let you go? It's not impossible." Nailan Jingze and Nailan Xingming heard what Little Golden Dragon said, looked at Heshi, and saw that she did not refute. Their faces suddenly showed joy. Little Golden Dragon sneered, "You can live, but that's only one of you. As long as you kill each other, I will represent the boss and let one of you survive. How about that?" Nailan Jingze immediately looked at Nailan Xingming upon hearing this. Nailan Xingming's face was also distorted. He stared at Heshi fiercely. "Nailan Heshi, don't go too far. I'm a martial artist of the gold core stage. If I risk my life to explode my gold core, you won't gain anything from it." Little Golden Dragon hummed and said, "Then you can blow yourself up if you dare." Nailan Xingming looked at Nailan Jingze and said bitterly, "Jingze, you and I join forces. I don't believe we can't deal with Nailan Heshi. I count to 3, let's go together." "Okay, Third Elder, I will listen to you." Nailan Xingming stood up abruptly from the ground and he said, 1, 2, however, before he could speak 3, his eyes suddenly widened. He looked at his abdomen in disbelief. There was a dagger stuck in it, and the dagger was still shining with a dark purple light. The dagger was painted with poison. Nailan Xingming opened his mouth wide, looking at the person who just released the dagger. His eyes were full of anger. "Nailan Jingze, how can you?" Nailan Jingze let go of the dagger, took a step back embarrassedly and muttered, I want to live. So you must die. Nailan Xingming, you should die for me." As he said, he looked at Heshi abruptly. He said fanatically, "You see, I have killed him. Nailan Heshi, you must abide by the agreement. Spare me, spare me." Little Golden Dragon looked at Nailan Jingze's behavior, and the contempt in his eyes had turned into disgust. He turned around and landed on Heshi. He said resentfully, "Boss, this kind of person has no shame at all. It's simply too abhorrent. Letting him live in the world is simply polluting the air. Why not kill him?" Nalan Jingza's expression suddenly changed hearing that. He shouted hysterically, "You promised me! As long as I kill Nalan Xingming, you will let me go, Nalan Heshi, you promised." Heshi coldly looked at the crazy Dr. Nalan, reached out to touch the little golden dragon, and sneered, "Flying flower sword rain didn't kill you, it means I didn't want the lives of you too." Nalan Jingza was overjoyed. "You will let me live? Let you live?" Heshi seemed to hear the funniest joke. "I just reluctant to let you die like this, otherwise wouldn't it be too easy on you? Nalan Jingza, have you forgotten? In that dark cave, what did you do to my brother and how you tortured him? If I don't let you suffer the same torture and die again, how can I be willing?" Nalan Jingza's eyes widened in horror. His lips opened and closed as if he wanted to speak, but he could only make a stuttering sound. After Heshi finished speaking, purple vines shot out from her wrist. "No!" Before Nalan Jingza finished speaking, the purple vines had entangled his hands and feet. Only a click sound could be heard. His wrists and ankles were actually broken by purple abyss vine. The intense pain caused Nalan Jingza to let out a miserable howl, but the torture was not over. Purple abyss vine hovered in the air for a while, wrapped his whole body, and suddenly a powerful magical power radiated out. Immediately afterward, Nalan Jingza wailed even more painfully. When purple abyss vine released him, he could no longer stand, and could no longer use spiritual power. He could only lie on the ground softly like a rag. Heshi walked forward slowly. She looked at Nalan Jingza's desperate and resentful eyes, and her mouth corner was lifted. "Nalan Jingza, don't you like to treat others as pets and torture them as slaves or beasts? I'm now giving you a chance to experience this kind of life. Your hands and feet have been severed, and the meridians throughout your body have been severely damaged. You can no longer cultivate and use martial arts. However, your dantian is still intact. It can filter the impurities in the spirit plant elixir and crystal stone. Especially, you who have the cultivation of the gold core stage, you will for a long time and will not die easily. As long as we put you into the slave market and sell in the vessel auction, I believe countless people will rush to buy you. For the rest of your life, you will live a living hell. You will be treated even worse than an animal. Maybe because your meridians are severed, you can't even explode your gold core. You can't even die easily from things like biting your own tongue." Nalan Jingza opened his mouth and yelled, "No, no. Come it. I don't want to be a vessel." Heshi sneered, "We will not kill you. The only Nalan Xingming who can kill you has just been killed by your own hands. Nalan Jingza, all your paths and endings are chosen by you. This is karma. When you did outrageous things, did you think that one day you will suffer the same things?" You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.